There you go, George. We're live.
Good evening, everyone. Hope we're all doing well on this Monday. You're gonna have to bear with me. My voice is a bit ropey. Just blame Rosa. But yeah, just want to welcome all my guests. So, Mel, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm not bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I can't complain. We won at the home of football. So it was even sun shining in Dagenham. Like
The Chickwell construction curse is officially broken.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm good. Chantel, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Definitely hated the travel to the stadium at the weekend, but back to my side where it has been a bit sunny, so I don't envy you lot.
Yes. Everything's good in the world now. All the wars have been completed, all the and fixed. There's no problems with the government at all. In Renee, we trust. So yeah. Yeah. Laura, welcome back again. You were that good. We had to have you back.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, happy to be back on. Thank you very much, and I hope you're all well.
Yeah, that's good. See, we don't need an interpreter for Laura. That's just James. No, you're watching probably somewhere, so I thought I'd get that in.
He's just put in the comments, so he's
Paul, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. So good end to the week for being a Gooner.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I leave him to last because he's brought his violin today, even before the pre-show. Andrew, how are you?
Good evening, George and fellow Gooners. Hope everyone's well. Of course you are. What a fabulous victory that was.
Are we winning the league, Andrew?
Of course.
Right, cool. Good answer. So yeah, and we potentially maybe having someone else come on up in a bit. So you have to carry on to watch the show to see who it is. So yeah, we'll start with. Thank you and hello to everyone who's watching. That's probably a good start. So yeah, we'll start with the game. I thought the funny part was when the West Ham announcer tried to throw shit on us. See, they got the first S-bomb already, saying, "Oh, I've heard news that Arsenal sacked their manager," and then all the quite a few Arsenal fans actually cheered. And he said, I didn't realise it was good news. So that kind of backfired. That was quite funny. But we'll start with the team. I'm going to start with you, Andrew. Was you surprised with the lineup? There was someone who wasn't playing who I was surprised about, but let's see what you think.
Yeah, I thought it was a Steiner game. Watching the way West Ham play with that kind of with their back four kind of trying to compress the pitch when they were on the ball. I thought Steiner would be starting. So that was my surprise. I kind of get why Daphne was playing. Again because of that high back line. Her long kicking is kind of probably what she's definitely got over Manu. But the rest of it, I can see what Renee's trying to do, and you've got to we've got to be patient with her at this moment. I mean, I don't know how much time she's had to kind of with the squad. So but that was my only take. I did expect to see Steiner start.
Did you think Williamson would be put on the bench then?
Oh yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it? Because Renee was saying afterwards that she was trying to manage her minutes. And that doesn't make sense to me because I mean, I don't get it because she didn't warm up, did she? I mean, you guys were there. I don't think she warmed up, or she travelled and she was on the bench, but there was never any, there's hardly any chance of her playing. So, a weird one, a really weird one. I hope she's okay. I suppose is the one thing I can draw about it.
Yeah. I kind of called bullshit on it when I heard it personally. I think I don't know, like managing her minutes. I think it's easy to say that, isn't it? But I don't think. Let's be honest, she hasn't been playing that great recently. So, I don't know. I thought she would have come on at least for like a few minutes. But Mel, what do you think about the Williamson not starting situation?
I think the same as you. She's not been playing great the last wee while. She's obviously not at the level that we've seen her at before. But I don't know if the whole managing minutes has come from the England camp and the sort of view that they're looking at playing her for the majority of their games in the upcoming international break. That's the only thing that I could think with the restricting her minute shout. But aside from that, I don't think there was any sort of reason to bench her other than poor performances recently.
Yeah. Then we saw Laura. We saw Steph Catley start and play 90 minutes, probably for the first time this decade, I think. So that was good. That was good to see, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Steph is pretty good stepping into that role anyway. I think the more she steps into that role, the more we see her progress. So again, it's another option for us, which is good, I suppose, when things like that happen in your short and centre backs. But again, we're still looking at Katie Reid coming in and possibly getting a whole lot more than 5 minutes near the end and proving what she can do for us getting into the next season, and possibly even being a starter next season if Lotta or Leah don't pull their socks up.
Yeah. Then also it was Kimmy Little's apparently 350th game. Is that right, Mel? For Arsenal, I think. So
It was indeed 350 for Big Kimble and 350 more coming soon.
So yeah, Paul, what's your how did you think Kim played in the game? Do you think she I have seen some people say that she shouldn't be starting all the time, playing 90 minutes. Mel, do not kick me in the head when I see you next. I do I'm kind of in agreement that she shouldn't be playing 90 minutes week in, week out. What do you think about that, Paul?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think I watched it at home later because I was at working, unfortunately, and she didn't appear much on the screen. There were some sort of glimpses and some shots, but yeah, I didn't really notice her for large chunks of the game. So I mean, that a game against West Ham is probably the sort of game where, coming up to an international break, yes, you probably would play her. But if we had, I don't know, say Bayern Munich away midweek next week, then I would be thinking about actually having her on the bench and giving her a rest in this one. So yeah, I think that the time is coming where she's not going to be 90 minutes week in, week out, but I still think she's a top quality player. Definitely worthwhile having in the squad, being around the players, and longer term I can see her moving into a sort of a player coaching role with the club.
Yeah, the way I see it as well is that obviously we've got a few hard games coming up with after the international break. Is it Man United, Brighton, Juventus, Tottenham, and then Juventus again. So could you see Chantel? Could you see Kim being rotated in them games? So say maybe she plays the Man United one but misses the Brighton one.
For sure, yeah. I mean, now is the time, with us still playing midweek games, that we need to start looking at our rotation of where we can spare our suspected or normal starting 11. As much as they love to play every game full 90 minutes, I don't think it's feasible because anything can happen in them games. They can take an injury, a knock, and that little niggle turns into something more serious, which we see them out for more weeks than we want to. on Sunday, we definitely saw the impact of having substitutions come in. So I think why not rotate and give the players like Kim and other players that need that respite that chance to take a step back, and then we're also seeing the depth that we have from our bench.
Yeah. Another point. Well, it's a new segment, Andrew. I'm throwing this right on you without even pre-warning you.
Lord.
So there's a thing called Russo Watch. How do you think Russo done?
Very quiet. Very quiet. I suppose you saw the impact that Stina had. It just wasn't her kind of game. She comes for the ball, whereas with Stina's always forward. Everyone going forward and pushing the back line and testing that. So I thought it was I just go back to my previous point. Really, I think it wasn't her kind of game. I'm starting to lean, I must admit, to having Stina as our starter again. I think she's impactful and I think with Stina, and I know she does get a lot of critique about sort of taking chances, but the amount of chances she creates and sort of her pressing is and I suppose that you saw the difference when she came on, and Russo was removed. I think I've almost dodged the question there, or at least diverted the question. But by that you can see, it wasn't. She's not at her best. Hasn't been for a while, and perhaps just needs a goal to come off her face to get her back into it. I don't know, but I think it's Stina time. But hopefully, maybe she goes and has a good stint with England and bangs a few in and comes back a different player.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that question in the shortest amount of time, Andrew.
Cheers, boss. Cheers, boss.
And not actually answering the question.
Not actually addressing the question. I should be a politician. Yeah, I'm really impressed.
I tell you, you're nothing on Starman, mate. I tell you.
How dare you?
Well, what are you complaining about?
He's a fraud. He's not a red.
Jonas is with him. Do we have any comments, Mel?
We have a couple. Dorian said that he thinks that Kim can have well over 350 games in the next 10 years, and I agree. James has also said that he thinks that we need to look at moving Kim to a more impact role and start believing in her replacement, which I agree with. I want to go back to your please don't fight me about the Kim comments. I agree. I think Kim doesn't need to be playing 90 minutes every week. Kim doesn't need to be starting every game. If you'd heard me during the Chelsea game, you would have heard my true and real opinion of Kim on that game, which is probably one that I can't repeat on the podcast. But
no, you cannot.
That's about it. And also, Darren has now graced us with his presence, so we're up to 7 for the night.
Cool. How you doing, Darren? Super sub.
Hi. All good. Thanks very much for having me. Been a while since I was last on the show, so it's good to be back.
Yeah. We'll call you Rose the Wells.
I can live with that. Don't mind that at all.
Yeah, well, so I'll come to you, Darren. So what was your thoughts on the lineup and how do you think we played in that first half?
Well, firstly, unless I joined late, so I don't know whether anybody's already mentioned it, but firstly, wow, what an atmosphere. One of the best games I've been at for a long time in respect to the atmosphere. It was 90 minutes of non-stop chanting. And what worked really well for those that were there is the majority of us cowardly went under the stand so we didn't get wet. But George and his cronies, Dorian and Michael and a few others, decided to brave it out and stay behind the goal, which was quite amusing when they were getting wet, but that's another story. But what worked really well, it was like Meadow Park when the North Bank and the East Bank kind of play off one another. But yesterday at West Ham, it worked even better because, there was the hardcore singers, if we want to call them that, spread over the two stands. So we were banging off one another. And for the first 70 minutes, it was really, really good. And then, of course, we got our first goal. And then it just went through the roof, quite literally. And I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday. As I said, probably the best atmosphere that I've been at for quite some time. Controversial statement, but I'm going to say it. Jack's not here, so I'll be controversial tonight. I friggin' hate the Emirates. I do not like Arsenal playing the Emirates. I know why they do it. Commercial reasons, financial reasons. But as far as I'm concerned, Block 10, yes, we've got to give it time. It may well work. But I'm all about the atmosphere when I go to games. You know, football is somewhat secondary, almost. I love the atmosphere. And for the third time, I'll say it, yesterday was electric. The starting lineup, George, was pretty much what we expected, I guess. I think we really come to life when those subs come on, especially Rosa and Stina. They made the most immense difference to that game. And they changed, I think they turned it on its head. It was wonderful to see the new managers or interim managers' bravery by bringing on substitutes so early. I wouldn't say that's unheard of, but we don't often see that with the Arsenal, so that was lovely. And Rosa, from minute one, man, she was fantastic. I have a love affair with Rosa like Mel has with Kim. I don't think she does anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, she hasn't played that much, and we don't know much about her, but oh my God, what a baller she is. Was there another part to the question? Sorry, I rambled on a little bit.
He just said hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody, fellow Gooners, Gaffer, and all that kind of stuff.
Do you get paid word per minute or something?
Mate, I prepared it all earlier on. I just read off my AI. Don't worry.
No, you're good.
I speak from the heart. I'm not as controversial as Jack, but I will speak from the heart. That's all you can be in life, isn't it? Say what you mean. Say what you like and like what you say, as they say up north.
Yeah. No despicableness.
No. Well, I did actually say that Laura James is not reporting for England duty.
Yeah,
6 weeks out.
6 weeks, is it? You know what her injury is? I didn't catch that bit.
Yeah.
Calf injury.
Maybe a current ankle problem as well, isn't it?
Really?
So, yeah. It is.
Um,
They said it last night on the game on Sky Sports that it was a recurring ankle problem.
Like, Andrew, get your violin out again.
Is there no James tonight, Laura?
No, he's sitting beside me listening though.
Because I did
Yeah,
have
well,
Cat's phone ready to go. Sorry if I've already done that joke. I know I'm a bit late.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Well, I can't wait for Lauren James's late fitness test when she plays next week. Okay. So yeah, with what Darren said, throughout the atmosphere, I thought it was really good. All I have to say is that I'm not afraid of that thing they called rain. So, yeah, but I thought the atmosphere was really good. It was good to hear that it was quite like Meadow Park, to be honest, and it was nice because we actually had something to celebrate as well. We'll go on to the second half. I'll go to you, Mel. Obviously we got the penalty, and obviously Kim wasn't on the pitch then because we got subbed off, and Cadente stepped up to take the penalty. I wasn't really that nervous when she stepped up. Was you?
Not really, no. I think every time I've seen Caldente step up to take a penalty, she's looked confident in it. She's one of those players that I think she knows where she's going to put it before she even puts the ball on the penalty spot, which I think is always a key. I think some players will wait for the keeper to move. Some players will second guess themselves, and 9 times out of 10, that's when they miss or they put it beyond the post or over the bar. But yeah, if you were going to put that ball in anybody's hands in that penalty, it was definitely Caldente would have been the player that I handed it to.
Yeah. How did you feel, Chantal? Because obviously you was at the game as well. Was you nervous when Mariona stepped up, or?
I think I had a slight nerve when the penalty was given and thinking, Little's not on. But then once you kind of see who took the ball, it made more sense with the history of what McCabe's had with her penalties over the last season or two. It's not been that great, or like the keeper's done well to save them. So I think Mariona was the smarter choice. And I think it was the brave choice for Renee to to a different player rather than stick with what I think Jonas would have normally gone for.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was more nervous that they was going to take the penalty away. I don't trust officials when it comes to Arsenal Football Club at the moment. But,
We're lucky. There's no VAR yet.
no, we still got the officials. That's what worries me. Andrew, obviously, Cadenti scored the penalties, scored a couple of goals now recently. Do you think seeing her in that, like in the middle, are we getting the better Cadente?
It does appear to be, doesn't it? I think I think when you've got someone of that class, you want to get them on the ball as much as possible. And I think that's what she can do. She can dictate. You can get her more. You can get her on the ball more, and I think that's our number one thing. But yes, she's class, she's quality. And I think you're driving that spine up. The only problem is probably it does take out Frida from the game in this current setup. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, looking further down the line, what the squad looks like, and whether it be Renee or a new manager. But I suppose Mariana's come in, and two of our best players have been players in her position, i.e. Caitlin Ford and Frida Mornham. So it's interesting, but it's great to have her in the middle, and I think that's where she seems to be at her best anyway.
Yeah, I think you mean her name's Ballum Ford, actually. But she didn't play. She played like Ford Focus on Sunday instead of Ballum Ford. So, but yeah, she plays in the Champions League. So that's why she's going to win the Golden Boot, mate. I tell you,
Gotcha.
the Golden Boot, winning it all. Paul, I'll come to you. Obviously, a bit echoing like what Andrew said. Could you, obviously, Frida and Cadenti being in them positions, do you think we could ever see Arsenal going and playing actually just say Leah Volti is at 6 and then one of them sits in at 8, like an advanced 8 role?
It would be a risky move considering the way we have been playing in a change, but then you've got potential of a new manager coming in, might have their own ideas. You could have Rennie just playing these 2 games and might have something in the back of her head after the international break. These 2 games we've just had to almost muddle through, and I'm sure there'll be discussions in the club over who it is that's going to take the club forward. And then, it could work. It could work, but what I wouldn't want to see is them play that way and it not work on game 1, then do it again on game 2, it still not work, and somewhere down the line with 3 seasons later and it's still not working. Because we've seen that enough over the last couple of years where you've got a coach that wants to play a certain way and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I could see it working as long as the chemistry between the players is there. It could happen, but obviously then that takes players like Kim out of the equation a little bit as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Really, like I think like we're seeing Mariona playing where she's playing, and we're seeing the best of her. So does that mean that you have to sacrifice someone? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'll come to you, Laura. Obviously, the Leah and Kim double pivot. I don't think we see the best of Arsenal and from an attacking point of view. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the problem is with Arsenal is we're too scared to take the risks. And that's where teams have figured this out this season. And last season, we can't really blame Jonas for the first season. It was his first season. He was figuring out what his options were going forward. But I do think we shy away from taking risks, and it's a big problem. I don't see the harm in why we shouldn't work on that kind of thing going forward in training, and then later on maybe in the season bring it in and let's see how it works. If it doesn't work, go back to the start. What's the harm in it? There's no harm in trying something new.
No, I agree. Is there any comments, Mel?
Not many. Mostly about how the 4 changes made early on in the second half yesterday was a really good plan. Took a whole load of energy into the squad and really made a difference. And I agree with that. I think if we'd done our usual where we waited out to make subs, the game probably would have ended in 0-0. Possibly even though our 1-0 to West Ham. But I think it's good to see the interim manager sort of making changes a lot earlier than what we're used to, and really giving the subs that time to settle into the game and then bring their impact after that.
Yeah. Then obviously we went 2-0 up. Darren, obviously I'll let you have this one. Rosadinho struck somewhat we know she can do. And yeah, floor's yours. Mr.
Mate,
Darren.
sorry, I was laughing at your name. What was the question?
So we
Your
went
name,
2-0 up with Rosadinho. The floor's yours.
What do you want me to say to that? I mean, they continued to press, didn't they? After that, it almost looked like they had that killer instinct was suddenly re-energized throughout the team. I mean, I was listening to, I think it was Laura just now talking about how brave the manager was, and I do believe that Bennett is a particularly brave manager. It was almost first half was plan Jonas style. She realised that didn't work, but unlike him, she's got some balls and she's decided to change it up to plan B. Bring on those subs early, and yeah, it worked very well. They pressed and they pressed and they pressed, and eventually they got their, they got their just rewards. There were one or two, precocious moments when West Ham attacked, but that's football. You can't expect to have no attacks on your goal. DVD, as always, she wasn't really tested, but late on, she, brought herself into the fore again with a couple of good saves, but she wasn't overly stretched in that game at all. Nick Williams might have been a good option to come on as a second half, but I know managers like substitute keepers unless it's absolutely necessary. But again, maybe a controversial subject. If Manu is going to go at the end of her contract and Naomi is going to step up to be number 2, then she needs to start getting minutes on the pitch at some stage. Now, when do you risk that? Because you're certainly not going to risk that at the group stages of the Champions League, are you? So maybe one might consider these so-called lower ranking teams like the West Hams, the Crystal Palaces and so on and so forth might be the opportunity to blood Naomi a little bit better. But then you've got to think of Manu because she's still the number 1, 2 keeper, whatever she is. So I'm glad I'm not getting paid the hard bucks to sort out that because that's one that needs to be sorted out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I personally, I think it's already been decided.
Probably.
I think Van Doncella's the new number 1. And Andrew's probably giving me a really dirty look. Seeing as we know that we have Jack who's part of the Beth Mead fan club, and with Andrew who's part of the Manu Zinsberger violin club. Will do you on a serious note, do you think that she leaves in the summer, Andrew?
No idea. Honestly, no idea. I suppose it depends how this pans out. I guess she'd want to be a starter, and if she does lose the position, and Daphne's done nothing wrong, but I don't suppose Manu's done a great deal wrong either. I suppose there's so much we don't know. Who's going to play where, who's going to get what game time. Was this just Daphne starting because of West Ham's high line? And does it change for the Brighton game? I don't know. But yeah, I think it's this just there's so many kind of twists and turns in the plot this year. I don't know. To Darren's point about Naomi, I think she looked really raw and that's, you know, as in because she's 19 and because, you know, she hasn't played, but she looked really raw in the US. I think she's got to have you know, some more starts in friendlies in that but yeah, and maybe she's coming on. I mean, she's obviously getting great tutelage, you know, from you can see what kind of player, what kind of person, I should say, Manu is. I'm sure she's getting tutelage off Manu as well as the Arsenal goalkeeping coach. I think it's just too many variables at the moment, George. You know, but I think if she does lose a spot, then maybe she does go. But then I would possibly, Darren, think that we get another number 2 in, unless Naomi does show something. You know, goalkeepers generally kind of take a little while to kind of mature over their outfield players, and I wouldn't necessarily write Naomi off at this point. Absolutely not. She's but next year might feels like a couple of years too soon.
Okay, but I might be alone when I say this, but I think Naomi Williams is already a very good keeper. She needs to be more established. I mean, I know you can't take much from the warm-ups, but, you know, when we're at Meadow Park or even the Emirates, watching her warm up, she pulls off some really good saves. She's obviously got very good feet, she's light and nimble on her feet, and she always seems to be in the right place at the right time. No keeper in the world is going to save every shot, so one cannot criticize her for that, or any keeper for that. But I do believe that we should invest in this girl heavily. Maybe, you know, with Naomi, my mistake, with Manu and DVD as 1 and 2, maybe this year would be a good opportunity to loan her out to get some minutes under her belt as well. But I do believe she's one for the future. I really do.
Yeah.
Go on, George. Sorry, Captain.
No,
Stand down.
Yeah. I was going to say, I do agree. I would have liked to have seen her go out on loan. But like you said, not goalkeepers can't save everything. Look at Hannah Hampton. She can't even save a ball that don't go over.
But she can fall over very well when catching the ball. Yeah. She goes down in stages, in installments, that girl.
Like a Netflix series.
Oh, it's frustrating watching her play. It really is.
But yeah, what was you going to say, Andrew, about Manu?
I suppose it was just about Naomi. The thing is, with keepers, you do kind of need 3 in your squad. That's the thing, isn't it? Because you know, because it's such a specialist thing, and that's the thing. It does kind of hamstring people like Naomi, who absolutely, Darren. I'd love to see her. Maybe, I don't know, even a championship team or a third tier team, just getting regular minutes. But that's kind of from a kind of a general manager point of view, it's a massive risk to only have 2 kind of competent keepers. So yeah, it's tough.
So sorry if I can just jump in. I'm doing Mel's job here, but James has just educated all of us saying that we need to be cautious about loaning her out because he's sure that Champions League regulations require 2 keepers on the bench.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So there we have the answer. Thank you, James. Sorry, Mel.
How do we have a goalkeeper ready if we're not given a game? So say something happens to Manu and then something happens to DVD and then we require to change into Naomi. Like, how do we have her ready? Like, that's the thing. If she's not ready, then she can't. So is it a possibility of playing her in the early stages of the League Cup games or things like that?
I think if I was going to play her in any position, it would be the early stages of the League Cup. I think, like we said, Champions League group games isn't really where you'd want to chuck it in. It's very much chucking in at the deep end. And I think with the league as well, that's sort of the games, especially your bigger games, is when you want to be getting minutes into DVD and Manu, that going into those Champions League games, they've got those minutes in their belt. So I would think that when it comes to the League Cup games is when we're going to start seeing a lot more of the youngsters on the pitch, especially in the earlier stages when we play the teams in the lower leagues. But yeah, I don't think for any keeper, even as a backup keeper, to chuck them in a Champions League with literally 0 professional minutes under the belt this season would be a big ask for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do think she needs to probably start in there. Maybe if we get like a lower league team, like in the FA Cup or the League Cup, like we said, I think that's when she starts. Because then, like you say, if anyone gets an injury, she's ready just to step up straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go round because I know Rosa got. Well, I think she did. I think she got player of the match, but just want to go round quickly and see if that is who you think, or would you have chosen someone else? I'll start with you, Chantel.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always hard when you've got a sub coming in compared to people that have played the full 90 minutes to what effect they have. But when she came on, she kind of gave that aggressiveness, pressing up high, the link up between her and Stina. You could see that she was fighting to show why she should be starting rather than coming on and making an impact. And obviously with a great goal, like if you go back and watch her goal, the fact that Stina's cut it back to her, she's got players pretty much on top of that, and it's like a first time shot, top corner. There's no way, like we've seen in the past with Arsenal players, they'll take a touch, they then pass it to someone else, but she didn't even think that. She just thought, you know what, it's the shot going in first time, and Bob's your uncle's, it got us a goal. I think between her and Mariona were probably my top 2 players with the amount of pressure and aggressiveness they had to either be more dominant on the ball and get the West Ham players off the ball, or the fact that they were closing them down. I thought as a whole team we did really well at closing the players down to cause them to make mistakes where we were winning throw-ins, corners, or just gaining possession again.
Yeah. Paul, who would you say your player of the match would have been?
I was actually really impressed with how Steph Catley came into that team.
You nicked my answer.
On Sunday. I mean, obviously, I was watching the lovely YouTube match with the dodgy rain and dodgy commentary. Yeah, with the commentator not knowing who the players were, who was even on the pitch, and who was even managing the teams. But yeah, I felt Steph came into that position, first start for ages, 90 minutes, first time for ages. The distribution of the ball was really good. She made a couple of really important tackles, and she just seemed to, just step into that role. And the link-up play, getting the ball forward. Yeah, she just had a bit of everything about her, and it was nice to see her come back. So I would have probably gone for her, possibly Rosa if she'd have started and got that goal and played sort of that well for 70, 80 minutes, yes. But yeah, for me, Steph would have been the standout player for the whole 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's who I was looking to go for, because I thought she slotted in quite well. She'd done everything she needed to do, played the 90 minutes, so she got, it was just an all-round great performance from Steph. So I agree with you there. Who shall I pick on next? Andrew.
God damn it. I think it's a bit of an emotional vote that got Rosa. I think we've all been kind of hoping she'd get on the field, and so when she did and she scored, it kind of got. I think her votes counted double, but I thought Stina was our best player. As Chantel said, with the pressing, basically 2 assists as well. I thought Stina was I thought she was our best player. I mean, it's interesting about sort of Steph Catley at left back, at centre back as well. I was terrified that they'd bring Brinsdotter on and she would dominate. Most sort of in the area. If there was an aerial battle, Steph Catley, versus Brinsdottir, I think that'd be a tricky one. So I think that was interesting that Rhiannon Skinner didn't put her on more, because that's when Katie Reed came on at the end, I thought that's because Brinsdottir's come on. So I wonder if I thought West Ham missed a trick there. But to answer the question, sorry, George, I thought it was Stina.
All right, cool. Thanks for that long question answer. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think the West Ham goalkeeper was aware that Stina was playing after that knee to the head. Like I thought Stina went old, proper prime WWF Triple H at one stage. But yeah, and some news on Katie Reed. She's withdrew at the England squad. So at the under-19s, is it? So
Yeah.
So maybe Renee. Just saying, Dark Arts FC. Just saying. Let's hope we see that happen a little bit more.
Just while we're talking about Katie
Yeah.
Reed, just something for the club. I was a little bit disappointed when my new shirt arrived this last week, which there we go.
Oh,
Got the Katie Reed shirt with the
Dog
Premier
house.
League. With the Premier League.
No.
I must say, James has already called the shop out on that, because at the start
Yeah.
of the league, he did ask. He went into the shop and he has been complaining about players' names and numbers for ages, since obviously
Ridiculous.
we've been buying tops and getting names on it. He has put a stance to it this year and said that he ain't getting no name until Katie Reed's name is in there in the WSL fund.
Fair play.
Wasn't.
He's already
so-
got it up with the shop alone, so
And on
So-
the other one, my
Um,
daughter's got the goalkeeper shirt with Naomi Williams on, which you can order online. You can request the WSL font, and it comes with the Premier League font on it. And 3 times it got sent
God.
back until they said no, it's only available in Premier League.
Ridiculous.
I've had nothing but issues with the Armory and printing shirts. I went in when we released the pink third top, and bought the shirt, went up to the till, and I was like, right, I want to get a name on the back. And he was like, cool, what name do you want? And I was like, BE number 5, in the WSL font. And the boy looked me in the fucking eyes and went, we don't do customization in WSL font.
What?
oh,
Like, she plays for the squad. No, she's not on here. I was like, she plays for the squad. She does your marketing. She's on there. I'm telling you now, she's on there. And I think I went back and forth with him for like a good 15 minutes over it. And then finally he was like, oh yeah, no, sorry, my bad, it's on there. Got up to the printing bit to get it printed. They're like, yeah, no, we only have, I think it was Williamson, Mead, and Miedema in stock for that shirt at the minute. I was like, what? I was like, God forbid a Scottish girl doesn't want 2 English players and a Dutch player on the back.
we had it for the purple shirt as well. I wanted the Arsenal font when obviously the top just came out. It was at the Rangers game. I went and got my purple top, and again it was, we don't have it in stock yet. And again, James was like, you do know our league starts in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. And he's like, so why haven't you stocked us up? But you stocked every men's name up in the purple font, but you haven't stocked up our women's. So yeah, it's been a bit of an ongoing battle with the Armory for names and numbers for the girls, unfortunately.
So we'll try something different here. So the next inductee to the doghouse is the Armory.
No one saw that one coming.
No, not. I say that. Hold on, Mel. How does he get away with a blind joke and I don't?
I don't think he meant it.
It's always the accidental ones that are the best.
Yeah.
It's like, I
I
genuinely don't think I've ever ordered a shirt from online from the Armory and not had an issue with it. Like, even my Tobin Heath top is behind me. I ordered it the day that she signed, and literally an hour later they're like, yeah, we don't have any letters in stock. I was like, you've just announced that you're selling the tops an hour ago. It's been 59 minutes since I placed the order, and you're going to tell me that you're out of stock. No H's, not a H to be seen. I was like, my Stella McCartney away top. ordered a women's medium, GMBE Arsenal font. They sent me a men's large. Do I look like a men's large? I'm built like
Nobody
Dave
asked for that.
Levy. No, I'm built like Dave Levy. I mean, like, you could get 3 of me in a men's large. And even then, it wasn't a case of, oh yeah, send it back. We'll send you a women's medium. It's fine. They're like, oh yeah, women's medium's out of stock. So you sent me a men's large. Then I had to send the top back to get a refund. But then by the time I got the refund, the shirt was going to be sold out. So by this point, I spent about £200 on a shirt, and I had nothing to show for it. I was livid. Recently ordered the black goalkeeper top for Akram with DVD on the back. It took 4 weeks to get here because it was getting sent to mine. It got to Dunfermline. Spoiler alert, I live nowhere near Dunfermline. They were like, oh yeah, we attempted delivery and nobody was in. I was like, A, Dunfermline's 3.5 hours away from where I live. B, you've not even tried to get past Dunfermline. C, wise up. You've never chopped on my door to give me a parcel before. Put it through the letterbox. Get a grip. Yeah, me and the Armoury have beef. So the Armoury are very much in my doghouse, and they have been for a while.
It's right. They're not much better in store. I went and got my shirt printed, and the number hasn't been printed properly, so it's like hanging off. So I've got to go back when I'm next up there.
Yeah, a few of mine have done that as well. A few of them did it, and I've had to get them to repress it.
Yeah, again, it happened with my Jen Beattie Stella McCartney top. All the issues I had with that Jen Beattie Stella McCartney top. Could they print the name right? No. Was the lettering straight? No. Like, it's not hard. You've got templates. I could print the top myself. Give me the letter and I'll go to my old work and I'll print it myself. Like, I'd do a better job. But Jesus. It's not even like I went in and it was busy and they were like, bang, quick press. Nobody in. I was the only person in the queue and they still managed to make a mess of it. And don't get me started on the sleeve patches. What a waste of money. What an absolute waste of money. Any person who's bought a shirt with sleeve patches and those sleeve patches have lasted more than 5 washes, tell me your secrets. Those things have the structural integrity of wet cardboard.
Oh, see what you've started? You started a debate about the whole pressing of the plot and numbers and stuff.
Apparently speaking about dodgy printed shirts is what could really rattle me tonight, so there we go.
Well, I've got one, so I'll let you know how many washes mine last.
I'll tell you what, I got one on the Caitlin Ford shirt, the season she signed on a third shirt, and it literally lasted 2 washes, and that thing's hanging on for its life.
I think I'm on wash number 2 with this one.
It's doing a lot better than that one did, so you're obviously doing something better than I was.
But of course, they'll put the WSL patch on a shirt, but still put the men's Premier League font on the back. So...
What's the point? What's the actual point?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a proper good blind joke then for George, because you keep lifting up the shirt pull, and I was going to say, but George can't see anyway, so that's a spoiler alert.
You could have told George any name, any number, any font on that, and he would have believed it. Just reading it at face value. That's the kind of man he is.
We could all get George one that's got Jonas on the back.
Can you fuck?
Jonas number 1.
I think you'd feel it as soon as he put it on, his whole body would get red hot.
I'm pretty sure BA Signatures are selling a Jonas number 1 top and it's signed for you, George.
It's going for a $5, I heard. It's not going for much.
I'll sign underneath it. Thank you, fraud. Yeah, now that everyone's had their therapy session about the Armoury, I can't even remember. Right, yeah. Mel, who was your player of the match apart from the Armoury or the sleeve patches?
Rosa, hands down. I don't care that she didn't play that often, that many minutes. I think for any player to come into a game when they've played hardly any minutes for the squad and to walk into a game where I think she came on and it was still 0-0 and to make the impact that she did, I think regardless of how many minutes you've played in that game, that's a big pressure to go into, and she delivered. And I think if anything, she's cemented her name as a main one to be on the team sheet, if not starting in a few games coming up, then definitely to be one of the first names to be called off the bench to come in and make an impact in a game. So that woman can do no wrong in my eyes. You can tell that she idolised Ronaldinho growing up, and I think watching her with the ball at her feet on a pitch it's a pleasure, and I can't wait to see her cause more chaos with the ball at her feet in an Arsenal top.
Well said, Mel.
Thank you. I'm calm now. We're all right.
Rosadinho. Anyway, Darren, I don't know why I'm asking you this because I probably know the answer, but go on.
Well, so
Lena Hurtig. Oh, sorry.
Lena Hurtig. Oh, do you know what? You know what really is annoying? Sorry to go off on a tangent again. I was.
Well, not everyone else
Wednesday. I was at the Emirates last Wednesday for that Valerenga game, but I left. My son wanted to leave early, so we left 5 minutes early, and I missed Lena coming on, and I missed Russo's goal. So that really upset me. Anyhow, back to that game. Since Rosa's now called Rosa Dino, when Chantel was talking, I could have sworn she called Stina Stinio to keep up with the Brazilian names.
Yeah, it could be.
You obviously didn't say it, but I could have sworn you said Stino, and I was like, hey, another Brazilian name. What was the question? Player of the match, sorry. Rosa, of course.
Yeah. Better than Stina Blacksteinius as the.
Oh,
West
man.
Ham.
It's somebody asked me to choose between
no.
and Russo. It's like choosing your favourite child. Which one do you go for? Because they're both good players, but I think Stina has got the ability that Russo doesn't necessarily have. But we must not, of course, overlook Caldenti. Shake it, Caldenti. She was phenomenal for that game as well.
You said about choosing between your favourite children. I think mine's more like a cousin because my number 9's playing on loan at Brighton. So yeah, that's where the future's at. It's all about it's in Michelle we trust. Laura, who was your player of the match? And if you've got any tangents to go off, just crack on. Everyone else has.
I'll try not to, George. But do you know, the last few games, I've really struggled when obviously the supporters club vote comes out. I've really struggled to pick our player of the match. Sorry, I've often looked at the team and thought, who do you pick for player of the match? But yesterday, I agree, Stina come on, and I've said it the last 2 games. The energy Stina just brings is just phenomenal at the moment. I know I did say that she would be my goal scorer if she played from the start, but I genuinely don't think we should play Stina from the start. I think she should be an impact star.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading a question. I think it was from Ryan. I'll come to you, Mel. It says about Beth Mead. Obviously, we're not seeing her in that great amount of form, are we? What do you think we need to do to try and get her back in form, or do you think we can? Or
I don't know. I think because she came off the back of her ACL injury and came back with such a bang that with this dip in performance, people are sort of saying everything and anything they can about her. I think we were quite lucky that she came back off her ACL in the way that she did. So I think this sort of dip in form is sort of long overdue, if anything. Most players would have their dip after coming back off an injury like that. We've seen it with Leah Williamson, sort of struggling a bit now that she's getting consistent minutes. And I honestly don't know. I don't know if the international break and playing with England and hopefully scoring some goals and doing what we all know she does best, with an England shirt on, will bring her back to the Beth Mead that we know. But I think with all the changes and everything that's going on in the squad and with the backroom staff at the minute, it's not too far out there for players like Beth Mead to be unsettled. So I think it's just a case of wait it out and cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything you can that at some point soon we get back the Beth Mead that we all know and love.
Remember that saying, form is temporary, class is permanent.
Exactly.
She'll come back.
Yeah. Cheers for that. Cool. We'll wrap up there after Talking Therapy does Arsenal today. So I just want to thank everyone for coming on the show. So Darren, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you, George.
No problem. Always welcome. Paul, I hope you managed to get your very visual sighted Arsenal top sorted.
Yeah, we'll get there. And just while we're going off on tangents, I'd just like to say that yet again, we still didn't see Catherine get any minutes on the pitch against West Ham.
Good point.
and I really thought that was the sort of game that we could have played her in as well. But
Blake Jonas.
yeah. So I'm her sort of fan as Andrew is to Manu.
Irrational then.
Catherine, at the end of the game, when she was warming down, if you will, she didn't warm up, warming down, and she was close to the end where all the Arsenal fans were. Most have gone by then, but I was hanging around, and she was with that fitness coach, and she looked visibly upset again. Like, you remember, I asked a question on one of the shows recently. Does anybody know what happened to her at the Leicester game or something? Because she was allegedly in tears. It looked almost the same on that one as well. When I see it with my own eyes, she looks so distraught, the poor girl. I don't know whether something's going on behind the scenes there, and I most certainly don't want to stir up any shit that ain't there to be stirred up. But I'm not sure all's well in Catherine Cole camp.
Mm-hmm. Cool. We'll wait and see what happens with that, but maybe you might be onto something there. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Cheers, boss. Manu Thor, world president.
Yeah, that's Andrew banned from next week. All right. Laura, brilliant again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us on. And can we just say a big, massive congratulations to George for his Community Aspect Award. And we'll all be behind you on it. So we will.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If I win, we'll celebrate in the coronet or something.
Mel will be buying you Jaeger bombs because that's her favourite thing.
Mel's off the drink at the minute. It's mid-season with Scottish Cup. Mel's off the drink.
Yeah, like you said, Mel's off the drink.
I don't believe it for 1 minute.
Yeah. Also, Chantel, thank you as well.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. I've just got 2 points to make. Someone said, get Jordan Arsenal shirt on the back, put I am Jones's #1 fan. So definitely making that my project. And 2, can we just do like a little hallelujah that apart from Leicester this weekend that's just gone, we are the only other team that kept a clean sheet. So I'm just happy that we did that.
Yes. The effect.
The bar is low.
Right,
No, you just have goals that don't cross the line.
I have got something to. Who was the one who said about the top?
I think it's who goes by the Mr. Arsenal podcast.
That's Ryan. Ryan,
Yeah,
you know
Ryan.
what I'm going to say to you. You know what I'm going to say to you, Ryan. If I've got to wear one, then you've got to wear one, mate. So you mugged yourself off there. So, because I can't see what shit I'm wearing, so it don't bother me. So yeah, and Mel, thank you for coming on, and appreciate everything you do.
Thank you for having me and letting me rant endlessly about my love-hate relationship with the Armory.
Yeah, if anyone was having a bad day, just watch the show and he rants with you. So yeah,
George.
Yeah.
Are you going to Manchester?
On a transfer?
Breaking news.
Give that man a fish. No. Yeah, I potentially am. Yeah, it looks like I am.
Okay.
So, well, it's not Manchester, is it? It's like a small
Wigan.
basement in Wigan.
Wigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, small basement in Wigan. Like, I've been to bigger Weatherspoons than where we're going. So yeah, we will be back. We will be back next week, but just keep tuned with that because it won't be me. So we need to work stuff out with that. And yeah, so hope you all have a good rest of the week and all take care and stay safe and keep smiling. Good night, everyone.
Hi.